Welcome back to the Pirate MIDI video tutorial series for the BRIDGE6 and BRIDGE4 MIDI controllers. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into the sequential mode. On my BRIDGE6 here, I have set up two switches here. Switch 2 is set to sequential mode, switch 5 is set to sequential linked mode. So I've set 6 steps on the sequential mode on switch 2, and when I link switch 5, it will also control the steps that I've set on foot switch 2. So you can see here on switch 2, I'm on step 1, and if I press it, I'll be going to step 2. But if I press switch 5, that's set to reverse, which means it will be going backwards through the steps. So it's on step 1 currently, and if I press switch 5, it will go back to step 6, step 5, etc. So let's show you how that works. We'll press switch 2, and we'll go to step 2. And you'll see the name changes as well. Step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 5, step 4, step 3, 4, 5, 6, and back through to 1. You'll see that each step has its own unique color on the LED, and it also has its own unique switch label, which you can set to be anything you want, up to a maximum of 8 characters. Now, let me show you how that's set up. Under switches, we'll go to switch 2, go to the configuration settings, and you'll see that we're in sequential mode. The direction is forwards for switch 2, which is why it goes step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the send is on always, which means every time I press that switch, the associated messages on that step will be sent immediately. Repeat all means that when I get to step 6, I'll press it again, it'll go back to step 1, and it will go through all those steps again, like I showed you. Now we'll go out to switch 5. The configuration is sequential linked. The direction is reverse, like I showed you, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The send is set to always, and the linked foot switch, it's linked to foot switch 2 as the primary sequential switch. Now let's look at the messages on switch 2. Go to switches, messages, and we'll scroll through to the sequential message stack. Now this is a little bit different to setting up normal MIDI messages in the message stacks. So, as you can see here, we've got a table of all our sequential steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It shows the color that the LED is set to. That will show the name of the color on board if you've chosen one of the default colors, or it'll show custom numbers 1 through 12 if you've set any custom colors. On the right here, you'll see the step name. So that's the switch label, which you can edit so that that will show on the screen as you go through. And here we have controls to actually scroll through and have a look at the steps. Let's have a look at step 6. We'll press edit, and you can see now that we've got a little bit different UI. We are currently set on the orange selector, so you can change the LED color here. Let's change it to yellow, and then we can move along and we can actually change the step name here as well. So let's change this, and VTEP 6, that sounds like a word, and now we'll press done. If we wanted to edit the actual MIDI messages associated with that step, we'll press switch 2 again, which says edit the step 6 messages. So here we're just scrolling through the actual messages, then we want to edit it, and then we can go across and edit the color or the name, or we can press switch 2, which will let us actually enter that step's message stack. So you can see here for step 6, I just set a control change with all values of 6. The channel is 6, the CC number is 6, and the value is 6. If I wanted to edit that message, of course, I would just press edit like any other message, and I could turn off some of these outputs if I wanted to. Let's go back, or I could add another message. You can have up to 16 sequential steps, and if you have 16 sequential steps, you can add one message to each of those steps. There are 16 messages total that you can assign, which means, for example, if you have 8 steps, you could set 2 messages per step, or if you have less than that, you could set more, like you could set 1 message on some steps and 3 messages on other steps. For example, here, I've actually set it up so that if I go to step 1 and edit the step messages, I've actually got 3 messages. You can see it says edit 1 of 3. I can scroll through those messages. I've left them all on channel 1, but I've changed the number and value to 2 and 3 so we can easily see what's going on there. And so, because I haven't actually used all 16 messages in the sequential message stack yet, I can actually add a 4th message, 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. Change the outputs if I wanted to, save that, and now I actually have 4 messages which will be sent on step 1, and then on step 2, oops, save, sorry, done, save step 2, then I can add more messages, but actually at the moment I've only got 1 message on step 2, as you can see. So basically you can set up to 16 messages and up to 16 steps, and you can mix those however you like, having more or less messages if they're available to you out of that total of 16. Let's finish, exit here. And here we are back on the main screen. As I said, we've now relabeled step 6, which says VTEP 6, and the color has been changed to yellow as well. One other important setting you might want to know about is if we go to switch to config, you'll see the repeat section. Now, as I said, repeat all just cycles through all the steps one after the other, start to finish, then goes back to the start and goes again, according to the direction that you've sent. However, there are 2 other options, which include last 2 and last 3. Because we've only got 6 steps, let's just set it to last 2 for now. We'll save that, exit the menu, and now you'll see on switch 2, once we hit step 5, step 6, it will now just repeat step 5 and step 6 every time we press that message. Now, the only way to reset this is to go to the next bank or previous bank and then go back, and it resets the sequential state. However, you can also reset it using a smart message. So let's do that. We'll get it stuck on 5, 6, 5, 6 like so. And then we'll go into our switches, and on switch 3, we'll set on the toggle on a smart message. Oops. There we go. We're going to set that as reset sequential for switch 2. Now we'll just save that and exit the menu. And now we're still on 5, 6, 5, 6 on this switch, but if we toggle this on, it resets the sequential back to step 1. Some other smart messages you might want to look at include reset sequential, increment sequential, decrement sequential, set the step sequential. So this one allows you to skip directly to a particular step. So you could have on switch 6, that might instantly jump me to step 4 of that sequential step sequence. So if I set that to step 4 on switch 2, and then we go out of here, let's do that. Look at the toggle on has now sent us to step 4. Another smart message you'll probably find really useful are the cue next sequential and cue sequential smart messages. And what these are used for is to actually send the sequential switch to a particular step without sending the message. So you can use a second switch, like we've been using, switch 3, to go to step 4, but the message won't be sent until you actually trigger the action. So here on cue sequential, we can choose the switch, switch 2, and cue the step, step 5, and we'll press save, and we'll exit. And now, when we toggle on switch 3, you'll see it goes straight to step 5, like we said. So as you can see, the sequential mode is really powerful. It's particularly useful for live audio looping, particularly with those last 2 and last 3 repeat settings, which can be used, say, for record and overdub, overdub, record, that kind of thing. You can also use it for stepping through a particular set of presets with queuing, with targeting specific presets with other switches. It can be really powerful for limiting the range of the presets that you want to access. Something else it can be really great for is stepping through a chord progression. If you just had a 3-chord song, you could set up 3 or 4 MIDI notes on each of those steps and you could actually cycle through those chords. That's just some ideas. I'm sure you'll come up with some even better ones. So by all means, let us know about them. That's all we've got for the sequential messages for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments or reach out to us on our Discord server or on Facebook. Thanks very much.